Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sonnet with Sonnet's Garden Blooms, and I want to thank you all for stopping by. In today's video, we are doing Christmas in July. Last week during my live, I showcased the new Roycycled Decoupage papers, and they went over so well. So I am taking a couple of the papers and I am going to showcase them in 5 DIY projects that I think you guys are going to absolutely love. I definitely needed this inspiration to continue on like prepping and preparing for Cranberryfest. So I hope that you all get as inspired for the upcoming holidays as much as I did today. So if this is the type of channel that you do like DIYs, thrift hauls, thrift flips, day in the life of a small business owner, then go ahead, hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications. That way every Monday and Friday when I do upload a video, you'll be notified. And if you haven't heard already, I am putting out a whole lot more content over on Facebook. So go on over there and start following me. Every Monday and Wednesday, I have been doing a live, and plus every day I have been putting out more content about me, before and afters, you name it. I've been trying to fill my feed full of a ton of amazing content for all of you. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I can't wait to hear what you guys all think.
For project 1 on my recent live, I actually made this and everyone loved it. So I thought I would also include this on my video today, Christmas in July. So I love making these barn stars, and I cut 8 pieces. Each piece is roughly 9.5 inches long with a 45-degree angle on each end. Now what I'm doing here is 4 of the pieces I am painting white, and I will be painting them white on both sides. So I start with painting the edges and the front of each one of these, let them dry really well, and then paint the back. Anytime I'm working on a project that I'm reselling, I try to make it look as finished as possible. Now with these white pieces, we are going to use some decoupage paper. Anytime you're using decoupage paper, you definitely want to use a white background. On one of the projects today, I didn't, and you are definitely going to see a difference. I wanted to show everyone and also test it out for myself. And from now on, I will be painting all backgrounds white. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm using Vintage Linen by DIY. Now that I have the 4 pieces painted white, we are going to now take DIY's paint called Marquee, and this is the perfect red for the paper that I am using. So I, again, just paint 2 of these pieces the Marquee color, and again, all sides. So now that the red is painted, we are going to take Aviary, and again, the paper that I'm using has the same type of green in it. So I am going to paint the other 2 pieces the Aviary color, and like I said before, I am going to paint all sides, let them dry really well, and then we're going to go on to the next step. So now that all the white pieces are completely dry, I am taking my piece of decoupage paper and I am tracing out what, like an outline of the pieces that I am going to decoupage. I don't want them to be an exact match, so an exact fit. I always leave a tiny little bit of an overhang, and you are going to see how we're going to fix that in the end. It just makes it that much easier to place the piece when you are doing the decoupage. If you try to make an exact match, to lay that paper down, it's going to be virtually impossible to line up. So now that I have it all outlined, I'm going to then just take my scissors, cut each piece out, and we are ready to officially do the decoupaging at this point. It's just that easy, and really it does not have to be a perfect, like when I drew out that line, it was not straight or perfect. I just roughly outlined it and did a rough cut. We are going to take a sanding block and sand off any of the excess paper. So now that we have all the pieces cut out, we are going to use DIY's liquid patina. And this is my choice to do the decoupage, but you can use any of your favorite tools as well. So if you have a different product that you like to use, you can definitely do that. I just really prefer liquid patina. So I am going to brush on just a real nice even layer and make sure I get it all the way to the edges. I don't want it too thick, but I don't want it too thin either. After that, I am going to just take my paper and line it up the best I can. I want a little bit of an overhang on all sides, and then I'm just going to take my finger and my hand and just smooth it all out. You can also use saran wrap for a bigger piece. What I found is with a smaller piece like this, it was just very easy for me to use my finger to rub everything out. I also take my finger and I rub along the entire edge just to make a crease. That way when I come back after it is all dry with the sanding block, there's just a real nice crisp edge there. And I just continue on the process until I have all 4 pieces fully decoupaged with the paper. Now I'm going to take my hand sander, and I am taking the 4 colored pieces, and I just like to really rough these up and distress them, make them look a tad aged. And I do that to the entire piece. I want the grain of the wood to actually show through. I just love that look. And like I said, I do that to all 4. And then we're gonna go back and we are going to assemble this. So now that we have all the pieces sanded, I guess we're not going to assemble it just yet. I do want to show you how I remove the excess paper. First of all, you want to make sure these pieces are completely dry. And what I discovered after watching a video by Roycycled is that you want to take your sanding block and you want to sand in a downward motion. So I hold it and I just go downward, as you can see, and that way the paper is not getting pulled up, and it just really helps with that crisp line, and it just comes right off. I've been playing around with this, and this is definitely the easiest way to take off any of the excess paper that you're trying to remove in the end. So now that we have that last process done, what we're going to do is we're going to start assembling it, and we're going to lay the whole piece out. So we're going to do every other one just like we had in the beginning. So I am going to fit them all together like this. And then I do have just a scrap piece of wood that I put on the back, and I am going to take my brad nailer and brad nail this whole piece together. I was asked on my live if wood glue and staples would have worked, and it was funny that somebody mentioned that because initially when I built these, I actually wood glued all 8 pieces together. Then I took a stapler and I stapled them all down each one. I put 2 staples in. And unfortunately, there was somebody that was destructive in my booth and broke apart all my stars. So now I had to come up with an additional solution. And so I just take my brad nailer, and like I'm doing, I put brad nails in each one, and this holds it all together. And now nobody can, well, I'm sure if somebody wanted to destruct it, they could. So now that it's all put back together, I am taking more liquid patina, and where I start is I start with all the white pieces first, and I just give everything a really good coat. After that, then I go to the colored pieces. And the reason why I do this is that even though I've wiped those pieces off, DIY paint can still reactivate, and I don't want any of the red or the green on the white pieces. So this is how I do that, because some of that colorant can actually get in onto my brush. For project 2, I actually did this on my live as well, and it went over extremely well. So what I did is I cut out on my chop saw, I had a log, and I just chopped out. Basically, I think those are like 1-inch chunks of wood for the wood ornament. I then took white paint and I just painted on a white circle. And last year I made quite a few ornaments. Now this year, I just got all this Roycycled Decoupage paper in, and I absolutely loved the red ticking. So what I'm doing here is you can see, like semi-see through where the white circle is, and I just did a rough outline of it, and now I'm taking my scissors and I am going to then cut out the circle. Once I cut out the circle, then we're going to do the exact same thing. We are going to decoupage that right onto the wood piece. So just another nice even layer of the liquid patina, and then we're going to lay it down, the decoupage paper down. We're going to let it dry really well, and then we're going to come back and we are going to customize this. So now that it is completely dry, I am using the typesetting set of stamps from IOD, and I love this set because it does have all capital, lowercase, and it has the numbers. So I am using the permanent ink from IOD as well, and I am just going to line up where I want the U. And the key here is once you set that stamp down, you just have to go with it. And then I take my finger and I rub it around the entire stamp to get a really nice clean image. So the paper that I did get, so you get this whole half, which I used on the star, and then you get those 4 Santas as well. So what I plan on doing, I'm just gonna play around with it, and these are gonna be little shelf sitters for my booth at Cranberryfest. So right away, I'm like, oh, that would be so cute. Now, as I was looking, 3 of them are the same size. The 4th one is a bit smaller. So I'm going to make 3 of the Santas the same size. And then I am going to take that 4th Santa and I'm going to do something a little different with it. So we are currently going to make 3 shelf sitters with this paper, which is really cool because there's so many uses. So you get like these 3 projects, and with the other side of the paper, I was actually able to make 2 stars with that, and I had a bunch of excess that I can do other little projects with as well. So just like I did with the star, I am painting all the backgrounds the white, and I am using the vintage linen again, and I am going to paint 3 boards, and I'm going to paint both sides and the edges. And really, it's as simple as this. I'm going to take the liquid patina and do the exact same process that I did with the star. I am going to just put on a really nice even layer of the liquid patina. I am then going to line up the Santa on that board, and I'm going to start on one side and just work my way down and get all the wrinkles out. Let them dry very thoroughly, and then I'm going to come back and I am going to sand off the edges just like I did with the star. This is such an easy project, and I really think these are going to go over really well in my booth at Cranberryfest. So I found this rolling pin. It was $2.99, and right away I'm like, I am going to try my paper out on this. Initially, I was going to do something a little bit more jazzy. I was actually going to use the trees like I did on the initial star, but then I thought this paper I could actually have sitting out all year round. So I am going to measure out how the actual length of where I want to cut. And then from there, I am going to measure out like around, and I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just going to do a rough cut. If any of that is hanging over, any excess, we can just get rid of it, just like we did with the stars and the signs. But I'm just going to, like I said, take my scissors and cut this out, and let's go ahead and get started. So this is the one piece that I did not paint white, and I think you can definitely tell the difference in the paper once we start applying it and it dries. I just think the paper isn't as vibrant as it is on the ornament. And I know this paper is a little bit darker anyway. It's got more of an aged look. That's why I didn't think I needed to do the white. I felt like, did that white even help with the ornament? But I really think it did. So now that the piece is cut out, what I'm going to do is I'm taking my liquid patina and I am just going to work in small sections. So I'm going to start off by just applying a real nice even layer to just a little portion of the actual roller. I'm then going to pick up my paper and try to get it right in the center, and I am going to start working my way down. So I'm going to start rubbing there and just work my way, and then I'm going to lift it back up and I am going to continue on. So I'm going to continue adding the liquid patina and then work my way all the way around the entire piece. Now that it's dry, what I want to do is take my sanding block, and I again want to just do that downward motion. And it was a little tricky because of the handles, but then I realized if I held it like this and just continued to do that downward motion, it came right off, and it really made the edges look natural and like real rustic looking, and I like that. The other thought too, I could actually paint the handles or do something with the handles, but I actually almost liked it rustic looking. project 5, our final project, I had cut these out last year and I had made a bunch of trees that I brought to Cranberryfest, and I had a couple extra of these laying around that I didn't finish. So I'm going to start off by just doing one. I'm going to work with the smallest one and play around with it, see how I like it, and possibly even put like that Santa on another one. So what I'm going to do, like I did with all the other projects, we are going to paint the base white. So now that it's dry, I am going to cut out my decoupage paper just like I did with those stars. And I'm going to leave just a bit of an overlap just like I did with those as well. And I just trace around roughly and then cut it out with my scissors. So now I'm just going to line it up, make sure they fit, and I'm going to do the same thing with the liquid patina. I'm going to just apply a real nice even layer and let apply it just like I did with the other pieces. Let these dry real thoroughly and then go back and sand off any of the excess. And then we're going to add just a little bit of detail to this. So we are going to add the trunk and the base. And I took 2 screws and I screwed those into the bottom. I always use 2 just to really hold it tight. And then we are going to take the brad nailer and brad nail this on to the backs. And we're gonna do even amounts of brad nails on both sides to hold it into place. And I do about 4 brad nails on each side of the trunk. So now that we have the trunk on, I came up with the idea that I wanted to add 25 to the front of this just to represent December 25th, and I laid it out where I wanted it. And again, with the stamps, I'm using the typesetting set of stamps, and I laid it down and then just rubbed over each of the letters. Now, as I was looking at this, I decided I think I wanted to say like December, like DEC, and I thought like sideways would look kind of cool. So I broke out the next set of stamps that I absolutely love called Letterpress. And it comes with 3 different fonts, and one of the small fonts remind me of the typesetting font as well. So I lined up the DEC, I then put it onto just a little piece of backing, and we are gonna do the same exact process like I did with the larger set of stamps. And I absolutely love how this turned out.
So what did you guys think? What was your favorite project? To be honest, I love these. I love these shelf sitters. I think they're gonna add so much to my booth over at Cranberryfest. After I got these done, I like the streamlined look without anything, but also I thought about even just adding a border, wood border, trim border to it, and I think it would add a ton as well. So I just love how one piece of paper, you can get so many projects out of it. So tell me, how many of you are going to try a project in the upcoming seasons, whether it be fall or Christmas or the holidays, and use decoupage paper? It is truly such an inexpensive way to add so much pizzazz to your projects. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and were as inspired as I was. I cannot wait to keep creating more projects. I love days like this where I can just dive in and come up with all different ideas and play around with it. I actually have a ton more ideas, but I only wanted to do 5 because this was just a little blurb of Christmas in July. But I will have a ton of design inspiration for you coming very soon for the holidays and for fall. All right, well, Friday's I'm not entirely sure what we're gonna do just yet. I am hoping that after today, things settle down a bit for me and I can really get in here and hopefully give you a whole tour of my studio and get these shelves all decorated. I have been doing a lot of stuff in the background that you guys cannot see, but I will be showing it when I do a full walkthrough of my studio. All right, well, you guys have yourselves a great week and we'll see you Friday. Bye.